Welcome to the deep dive. You know, there's this one experience that really connects every single one of us, everywhere. Loss.
It's truly universal.
Yeah, and while death itself is, well, universal, the ways we actually choose to honor those who've passed,
Hmm.
they're just incredibly diverse, beautiful in so many ways.
It really is fascinating how cultures transform something potentially so devastating.
Right, into these powerful moments, connection, remembrance, sometimes even, real joy.
It's quite a testament, I think, to human resilience and just boundless creativity when facing, well, often our biggest challenge.
So our mission today, what we want to do is take a kind of gentle tour,
Hmm?
insightful, hopefully.
A gentle tour, I like that.
Yeah, through some of these amazing global mourning traditions and even some modern twists. We're aiming to pull out some surprising nuggets, insights, connections.
The idea is for you, the listener, to get a quick but pretty thorough sense of the really creative ways the world keeps memories alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's unpack this. Where should we start? How about Mexico?
Mexico is perfect. Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. What's so compelling about it, I think, is how it goes beyond just remembering. It becomes this really vivid, temporary reunion.
Reunion, yeah. It's celebrated November 1st and 2nd, right?
That's right. And it's not just about acknowledging death. It's like they're actively blurring the lines between life and death, inviting ancestors, back into the world of the living for a short time.
And the visuals, it's just so striking. The streets are bursting with marigolds.
Cempasúchil.
Right, those bright orange petals. And the sugar skull art everywhere. And families build these amazing ofrendas, home altars.
Loaded with photos, the deceased's favorite foods, drinks.
And those marigold petals again. What is it about all that? It feels so different from, say, how many Western cultures handle remembrance.
Well, those vibrant marigolds, the cempasúchil, they aren't just decoration. The color, the strong scent, they're believed to actually create a kind of fragrant path for the spirits.
Like an invitation.
Exactly. A sensory welcome mat, if you will, back to the home. This whole tradition, it treats death as just one part of a larger life cycle. It really emphasizes continuity, the idea that ancestors are still present, actively part of daily life, not just absent figures.
Active presence. That's a key difference.
It's a powerful way cultures can weave loss into life's bigger picture. Not an endpoint, but a transition.
That focus on active presence, it's so different. So while Mexico vividly brings spirits back, Japan offers maybe a contrasting but equally deep vision. More about their peaceful return.
Yeah, let's talk about Obon and Toro Nagashi.
Okay.
So Obon is a summer tradition. Many Japanese families welcome ancestral spirits back to their homes then. There are temple dances, visits to family graves.
Lighter rituals, maybe?
Often, yes. And perhaps the most serene part is the Toro Nagashi. This is where they float paper lanterns down rivers at the end of the festival.
I've seen images of that. It looks beautiful.
It really is. And it embodies a very Japanese aesthetic, mono no aware, that sort of poignant beauty of things not lasting forever.
Impermanence.
Exactly. The belief is, as those little lanterns drift away, the spirits are peacefully returning to the other world. It's a graceful letting go. You acknowledge life is transient, but you keep that connection through memory.
A beautiful, quiet ritual. Okay, so from serene farewells to something.
Yeah.
Well, much louder. A vibrant public thing. We have to talk about New Orleans jazz funerals.
Oh, absolutely. The second line.
It's more than just a procession, isn't it? It's like a whole journey.
It truly is. You have a brass band leading the mourners, usually from the church to the cemetery, playing these quite somber hymns initially.
Right.
But then, crucially, after the burial, the music totally flips.
That's the famous part.
Yeah. It becomes upbeat jazz. And the second line of dancers, often just people from the neighborhood, they spontaneously join in, celebrating right there in the streets.
So it symbolizes that passage. Sorrow to celebration.
Precisely. Affirming that life's rhythm, it just goes on. What's really striking is how public it is, how joyous. It's this collective emotional release where the community literally dances its way through grief.
Wow, the energy shift must be incredible. A physical moving through sorrow. It's interesting how Mexico, Japan, New Orleans, they're so different, but they all use this vibrant public ritual, turning grief into something shared, something celebrated.
Community is key in all of them in different ways.
But what about traditions that focus maybe more on the individual, making a final, really personal statement? Ghana's fantasy coffins come to mind.
Yes. In coastal Accra, master carpenters creating these just remarkable works of art.
They're shaped like, well, anything, right?
Pretty much. Fish, chili peppers, mobile phones, cars, animals, whatever captured the person's personality, their job, their passion.
The final resting place becomes like a biography.
A playful biography carved in wood, exactly. It's an incredibly personal touch. The coffin itself is a unique portrait of a life lived, a celebration of individuality, even in death.
A playful biography. Makes you think, doesn't it? What would your fantasy coffin be? A microphone? A book?
Huh. Maybe a comfy chair.
Okay, building on that idea of profound personal expression, maybe challenging our definitions, let's go to Indonesia, specifically the Toraja region.
Ah, yes. For Menin, the second funeral.
Second funeral. Tell us about that. It sounds intense.
It is, and it's unique. Several years after the initial burial, Torajan families gently, respectfully exhume their ancestors.
They take them out of the tomb.
Yes. They clean them, dress them in new clothes, and then parade them through the village.
Wow, okay.
Now, this tradition, it radically redefines grief. It's not a final goodbye. It's treated as an ongoing relationship.
So it directly challenges maybe Western ideas of what's morbid.
Absolutely. Instead, it highlights the enduring power of family ties, the idea that elders are still present, still part of daily life, even after they've passed.
That really reframes connection across generations. Okay, moving from rituals that, actively engage with the physical presence of ancestors, let's look at something modern, elegant, born from necessity maybe. South Korea's memorial beads.
Right. This is fascinating. Graveyard space is increasingly scarce in South Korea, a real practical problem. So many families now choose to compress cremated ashes into these smooth, almost jewel-like beads, often colored.
And what do they do with them?
They're typically displayed in elegant glass vessels at home. It's a really innovative aesthetic solution, but it still deeply honors the Confucian value of ancestor veneration. It blends modern practicality with that ancient respect.
So the loved one remains physically, symbolically present, but in a very different way.
Exactly. Beautiful, intimate, adaptable to modern living.
It is a beautiful display.
Yeah.
A personal touch for today's world. Now, if the beads offer a sort of contained closeness, Madagascar's Famadiana takes physical connection somewhere else entirely, possibly surprising for many.
Turning of the bones, yes.
What happens here?
This is a truly remarkable festival. It happens every 5 to 7 years, typically. Malagasy relatives open the ancestral tombs.
Okay.
They rewrap their loved ones in fresh silk shrouds, and then they actually dance with the bodies.
Dance with them.
Yes, to live music, before carefully returning them to rest. This tradition, it profoundly reframes grief. It becomes a family reunion, literally bursting with laughter and song.
Laughter and song. That's powerful.
It shows this incredibly active, joyful engagement with ancestry. It's a stark contrast to many other cultural practices, isn't it?
A full embrace of life, even right there, in the context of death. Amazing. Okay, our final traditional global stop. Let's go to Aotearoa, New Zealand. The Maori Tangahanga.
The Tangihanga, or Tangi. This is a multi-day gathering, usually held in the Wairanui, the traditional meeting house.
So it's a longer process.
Yes, very much so. It involves a lot of storytelling, sharing memories, singing, the waiata, and communal meals are central.
Food always brings people together.
It does, and all these elements, they help the mourners move through the stages of grief from often intense initial wailing towards acceptance. It's a very structured process, really.
And the emphasis is on
collective care, community. The core idea is that no one grieves alone. It underscores that vital role of the group in navigating loss, especially over that extended period.
Okay, so we've toured the world, seeing these incredibly diverse, often ancient traditions. But what does this mean for us now? Remembrance keeps evolving, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Traditions aren't static.
Let's pivot then to some new horizons, starting with something called green farewells. This seems to be a growing movement, especially in the U.S.
Yes. Human composting, or the more formal term is natural organic reduction. It's now allowed in, I believe, 13 U.S. states, and that number is growing.
How does it actually work?
Essentially, the process converts a human body into nutrient-rich soil. It takes about 45 days or so.
And the appeal is largely environmental.
Primarily, yes. It dramatically reduces the carbon footprint compared to conventional burial or cremation. And families often use the resulting soil to plant trees or in memorial gardens.
So it intertwines ecological renewal with legacy.
Exactly. It's about giving back to the earth in a very direct, meaningful way, transforming that sense of finality into, well, new life.
That's a profound way to think about a final act. Making it regenerative. Okay, and finally, let's touch on something many of us probably interact with already, digital and virtual memorials.
Right. This whole online space is constantly evolving. We see everything from, social media tributes, which can be complex,
Mhm.
to dedicated password-protected memorial pages, and even these emerging virtual reality remembrance rooms.
VR rooms. How does that work?
Imagine a virtual space where friends and family, no matter where they are, can gather, maybe leave voice notes, look at curated photos together, share stories in real time.
So it bridges distance.
It does. And when it's done thoughtfully with consent, maybe time limits, clear intentions, these online spaces can genuinely extend that circle of support.
Right.
Long after a traditional funeral service might end, it creates this ongoing, accessible digital legacy.
Fascinating how technology is shaping even this most human experience.
Mm.
Okay, that wraps up our deep dive for today.
Quite a journey.
It really was.
Mm.
And looking back across all these diverse practices, one core insight seems to be how celebration gets woven into sorrow.
Definitely. Whether it's the marigold altars in Mexico or that joyous second line dancing in New Orleans, so many rituals intentionally find ways to embed joy within the mourning process.
And community, that came up again and again.
Absolutely. Community matters immensely. From the Maori Tangihanga with its extended communal support to the Torjan Manan bringing everyone together, most traditions really center group storytelling, shared meals. It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? Grief feels lighter when it's carried together.
Yeah. And those personal touches, they really stick with you. Like the fantasy coffin shaped like a camera, or maybe a memorial bead in someone's favorite color. It's not just an object. It turns remembrance into this unique portrait of a life, a tangible echo of who they were.
That individuality shines through. And finally, I think it's clear that innovation is welcome. It's happening.
Right?
Eco-friendly burials, digital memorials. They show us that honoring the dead isn't stuck in the past. It evolves, just like cultures do, adapting to new needs, new technologies, new perspectives.
So as you, our listener, reflect on this deep dive, maybe think about how understanding these diverse global practices might inspire you, how you approach remembrance, perhaps for yourself or for your community.
Could it be with more meaning, more color, maybe even a little more celebration?
After all, preserving love, keeping those connections alive, that's fundamentally an act of life itself, a vibrant one.